You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access.
Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
Business Access TV is here at Expo Jamaica 2018 under the theme Advancing Breakthroughs. With over 300 displays here, there's lots to see and taste. Now please stay tuned. I'm your host, Amita Pasadweb.
The Wisynco Group has always been a support of the Expo Jamaica. We have participated from inception. However, this year, being the fact that we are now a listed company on the stock exchange, and given the growth of the Expo, we have decided that we would have partnered with the JMA Expo Association, because we are a strong Jamaica manufacturing company and we support the industry, the manufacturing sector, and as such we decided to be a major partner this year. Wisynco, being a major manufacturer, will always support them SMEs, right? SMEs are employers of the largest group of people in this country. And without the small and medium-sized enterprises, the economy will not grow. So based on that effort, we decided that we are and will always support the SMEs. The JMA and the JEA are two iconic institutions here in Jamaica. And these institutions are mainly lobbying institutions, lobbying the government for, pushing the manufacturing sectors and pushing the exporters. So what you find is that over the years, we have been conflicting in what we do as association. And as such, discussion has been held over the last few years that it would have been best for us to merge entities so that we could have a better and stronger voice in lobbying.
Urban Orchids JA provides silk floral botanicals for spaces that need beautifying all year round, for spaces also that don't get enough light. And there are a lot of us who cannot take care of orchids, so this is a viable alternative for that. We also do succulent plants. These are small plants that can hold in the palm of your hand, and they're beautiful. They are realistic and they look and feel real. For half the cost, basically, that's what we do. Expo has been amazing. There has been a lot of networking, and it's been promising for us so far, and it's definitely something we'll do at Expo 2020 because it has been a good experience. Expo Jamaica helps small businesses to network with the larger businesses who may help in distribution and providing supplies for smaller companies. We also get to meet mentors, and we get to experience, events that will bolster us into the market of supplying to larger companies. You can find Urban Orchids JA on Instagram at urban_orchids JA. That's urban_orchids JA. You can contact us at 473-2723.
You've been a part of Nationals Bold One. Just tell me how that has helped your business to kind of launch off, and how has that boost your business?
Well, Bold Ones, a very phenomenal experience. One, the kind of promotion, publicity, and advertising that Bold Ones has helped us to do is amazing. First of all, the official launch our recognition as well. Helping to cement our branding in Jamaica as an authentic premium Jamaican brand. On two of national trucks is our logo and our products, and has allowed persons to actually see our products even better. So it has increased our visibility. And this expo is amazing. the amount of interest, the amount of people wanting to meet us, know about us. We can't pay for this. The Bold Ones has helped us tremendously. And of course, the advice I've gotten from Mr. Butch Henderson himself, by listening to him speak about small businesses growing and their pains, of course. And we welcome anybody to be a Bold One as well.
All right, tell us a little bit about your company.
All right, so Chavot International was formed in 2014. We employ over 20 people from the inner city community of Winterspen, Spanish Town or GC Foster. And we also produce all natural, authentic, premium Jamaican products. From herbal teas, the cinnamon, the cerasee, the peppermint, the turmeric, your ginger, and the sauce up, and your moringa, and the sauce up moringa, to our very fine, the punch and a kick. Scotch bonnet, pepper powder, scallion powder, thyme powder, and our famous Jamaican black castor oil. And Jamaican black castor with moringa oil. All can be found in Fontana's, all beauty stores, as well as all major retail outlets. From your General Foods, to your General Ones, to your shoe shops, your Progressive, your Shoppers Fairs, all to the Highlows and the Mega Marts.
Tell us about how has Expo been for you this year?
Expo 2018 has been very exciting. First of all, we are very appreciative to be included as part of one of the Bold Ones once again. So it has given us the opportunity to expose our brand to the Jamaican market. And again, we are getting a very enthusiastic response. I think Jamaicans are beginning to see that there are a lot of good new products being developed, a lot of good young entrepreneurs putting out good products.
How significant has it been for your business to be a part of National's Bold One? And talk to me about how has National helped to boost your business?
Well, by being included, they have given us certain, infrastructure and sponsorship supports. But again, just the recognition from a company like National, it gives you a lot of encouragement. It also gives you a certain level of acceptance and credibility in the market, because these are companies that, have been reviewed and have been deemed, to be worthy upcoming companies. Not to say there aren't many more, but, as one of the Bold Ones, it gives us a certain advantage.
All right, quickly, just tell us a little bit about your product.
Well, Belcourt Blue Mountain Preserves, all natural gourmet products made in Jamaica, all natural. So we don't use any artificial colors, flavors, ingredients, preservatives. These basically are my wife's recipes. She has developed most of them. She is a cook, gardener, and foodie in the family. So you could say she is the inspiration for this brand, and you could say I am sort of the perspiration for the brand.
Tell us a little bit about how has Expo been for you so far this year?
This year has been very good. In fact, this year is our year in that we have now entered a number of export markets. We're in the UK market. We've gone into the US in Atlanta. And coming here, we've had an order for the Canadian market. So it has been a good year.
How important is the platform that National is giving you, National Baking Company, to your business's success?
Very important in that it has provided us with a great deal of exposure, both locally and internationally. We're focusing on our local herb, lemongrass. And what we do is to make a line of skincare aromatherapy products using the essential oil. So we grow our own farm, extract our own oil, and we use that to create our premium products.
Nature's Goodies, we're a group of farmers that produce, procure, and process all natural food and vegetables. Our signature product is our pressed plantains, which is green plantains that we process at our factory in Spanish Town. We press it and make it more convenient for you to have it, vacuum seal it, and you can have it at all the supermarkets island-wide. We do a line of flour, sweet potato, cassava, breadfruit, yam, all gluten-free, all natural, no additives, no preservatives. I'm hoping that Nature's Goodies Jamaica gets a lot of exposure, and so far so good, to be honest. Jampro and JEA have been really supportive of small businesses like ours. And I'm hoping that our products get the exposure both locally and internationally, and that we can secure orders coming out of the expo.
I think Expo in general helped to expose and to market the domestic manufacturers. Today we're proud to be part of it, not only for the benefits that we will achieve as a company, but also for the promotion of the institution, the Jamaica Manufacturing and Export Association, that actually develop and promote this expo, but equally also for Jamaica. So we can showcase to Jamaica and to the world some of the good things that are taking place in the manufacturing industry here in Jamaica. We in general believe it's a great idea for both institutions to merge. Start with the fact that what JMA then promoted was primarily manufacturing, may it be in the construction industry, in the agriculture industry, in processing, or just about every industry. And what JEA obviously promotes is export, the export of the same product. So a merger of both only expand the organization, create great opportunities for export and manufacturing to consolidate and work as one in order to achieve the greater benefits of both production and export. Finally, not only will the merger will promote greater production and export, but also in terms of both institutions, we should begin to realize more efficiency and, of course, some level of savings from the merger.
We go to a short break, but much more from Expo Jamaica 2018.
We are back with another exciting, innovative and inspiring season.
It takes a lot of stick-to-itiveness, being consistent and persistent in whatever you're doing. That's the bottom line.
Business exists to add value to people's lives. And if we're not doing that, might as well we lock down the store and just call it a day.
It's a season 3 of Creating Wealth, Mondays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
Violence against women is a violation of human rights. Its impact ranges from immediate to long-term physical, mental, and sexual consequences, sometimes resulting in death. It negatively impacts women's general well-being and can prevent us from fully participating in society. Be a better human being. No more violence against women. No more.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
Welcome back to Business Access TV's coverage of Expo Jamaica 2018 right here at the National Arena.
the expo this year, CMU is showcasing additive manufacturing, also known as 3D printers or 3D printing. We've brought over a couple of our printers from the laboratory, and we've been getting a really great response of people they've never seen a printer, so we have been demonstrating our 3D printing technology here.
What role do you see this having in Jamaica's manufacturing industry?
Well, I actually spent 15 years in industry as a manufacturer. I worked in the digital factory at Siemens. And what I saw in that big company was that 3D printing is really the way of the future. So it's really important for us to be in the first wave of things happening. And so Caribbean Maritime University is really just trying to play its role to develop our people, to give them access to this technology, because it's state-of-the-art technology that's being used in industry today.
All right, talk to me about CMU's role in helping to move the country's economy forward.
So Caribbean Maritime University, we are attaching ourselves to industry. We think that, playing a big role in trying to educate our students so that they can be really great contributors to the nation's development. We have a couple of really strategic areas that we're focused on: logistics and supply chain, obviously tying ourselves to the big logistics initiative, the logistics hub that we're trying to contribute. We also have a state-of-the-art industrial automation training facility that will launch later this year, which will give students and people the ability to access the latest technologies that are being implemented inside of industry. Just as our 3D printing, additive manufacturing is the latest technology. So CMU is really trying to enable our nation, position our people, our human capital for the future, and to be able to grow our nation and contribute to the development of Jamaica and the region, actually.
So buckets are a great application for Jamaica. It allows consumers in Jamaica to save money. And it also allows merchants in Jamaica to make money. So it's very simple. So what happens is we have consumers that come on the platform. They can save at restaurants. It's eat, play, stay, and live. Merchants can create deals on the platform. We just require them to create a 15% discount so that Jamaicans can save from those discounts. Once we make a sale, we take 10% commission, and of that 10% commission, we give 20% back to Jamaicans. So everybody gets 2% cash back on the deals in our platform.
Tell us some of the, companies or deals or some of the things that would be available.
So currently we have deals such as Quartz on the platform. We have Appleton as a vendor, so 15% off local products with Quartz. We have Amazon products on the platform. We have Glad Helpers, 15% off if you need to save money on cleaning your house. Hopefully you don't have a dirty one. So Domino's memorabilia, so for example, Calabar, KC, so really anything from a pin to a house can be listed on our platform.
How revolutionary do you think this will be for the Jamaican consumer?
Very revolutionary. We work very hard to bring this product to Jamaicans to allow consumers to connect with merchants across Jamaica on their mobiles. Most Jamaicans have mobiles over computers today, 2.2 million of you.
What do you think the pickup will be like?
Well, we launched at Expo this year, and we've had many downloads since we've been here. Everybody's come to our booth. Everything is done. It's Sunday, end of day, and we have no more material. Everybody's come here, and everybody's very excited about the platform.
So this is next big thing?
Next big thing. Yes, absolutely. Next biggest thing in Jamaica. So download the app today. Bucket Rewards if you want to save money. Bucket Merchant if you want to make money.
All right, and where do I find the app?
You download it on the iOS store or the Play Store on Google.
Well, this is the first time we've actually come to this, because I saw it advertised before and I was quite interested to come. Just saying, when we came this morning, we obviously got the times wrong, so we went away and come back. So this is our first, so we hopefully will be coming again. So we're just going to have a good look around now.
As a manufacturer, we are on two fronts. We manufacture our water but at the same time we also manufacture our bottles and we are exported. We are available in Cayman Islands, we're available in Barbados, we're available in BVI, we're available in the Caribbean. So as a local manufacturer, especially one that's been around for 13 years, it's important for us to remind Jamaicans, hey, here's a good quality Jamaican brand. Here is the Fiji of Jamaica right at your back door, right in Buff Bay, Portland. When people think about water and Blue Mountain water, they automatically think about at the top of the mountain, not realizing that this small town in Portland, Buff Bay, that you've possibly driven through before, is home to such a high quality water, the only naturally alkaline water in this hemisphere, in the Caribbean. That's a very big deal, and that's in our own backyard. So we are happy to interact with our customers to let people understand that not all waters are equal. There is a difference. Look at your label. Question what's happening with your water. Question what you're drinking, because you could be drinking yourself sick. We're very happy with our Expo execution this year. It's not our first year at the Expo. We try to participate as much as possible to let persons know on this side of the island what an amazing product we have.
A show like this for all size enterprises is useful because the attendees are buyers from multiple countries. For this year's show, there are 26 different countries represented, and you have local consumers. Consumers like to come to this show and see what the manufacturers are offering. So whether you're small, medium, or large, it's a great opportunity to showcase your products. And what is nice about this year's show is there's an area next door that has a lot of small companies featured, and I see them scattered around the main show hall, but over there, really good. At the show here for Tortuga, the kind of buyers that would have been here that interests Tortuga would be hotel buyers. So apparently a lot of the hotels sent representatives on Thursday, and we had lots of meetings with them to move the business forward. So it was useful in that regard for Tortuga. And just me, I'm observing consumer interaction with the brand. A lot of Jamaicans don't realize that the majority of Tortuga products, the rum cakes, are made here in Jamaica at 9C Retirement Crescent, Kingston 5. And people need to remember that if they want to take a piece of Jamaica to give to a friend or family overseas, Tortuga rum cake is a good choice.
Detox is a natural drink. We have the moringa, noni sorrel, guava sorrel, Powerman, Hard Driver, product of Jamaica. Experience of Expo 2018 is a awesome one. It's the first time being here, and it's wonderful, it's excited, it's a joyful excitement towards me, and I will come every time they have Expo. Jamaica, it is here for a small business. It's growing, and I can tell you, it's an experience that everyone should come here. Even whatever you are doing, it's an experience for you to come, even if it doesn't be a part of it, but learn about it so the other time Expo come, you can be a part of it. And that's what helps you to push your business a little further across the world.
So over the past few years, Grace has been involved in the Expo, and we see it as a national development. And this year, 2018, as an exhibitor, we decide to showcase our products, our new service offerings, the different factories, canning meats. And by the way, we will have a new factory opening this year. I won't give you too much details, but I know it will create job opportunities for the local farmers, and that's what we care about, people. The latest product is our Grace food drink. It comes in 4 different flavors: tropical strawberry, smooth vanilla, walnut caramel, and butter almond. It's sensation, it's a hit. I just wanted you to take a look over there. However, it's finished, as you can see. The lines were long, it's jam-packed, and we're now moving on. Our Tropical Rhythms PT, which is our plastic bottle Tropical Rhythms, it's been a hit since inception. And through Grace Flavor with a Beat, we're going to take the campaign on the road, pushing our promotions in stores, at events, because we're now heavily involved in events and in-trade promotions.
As a manufacturer or as an exporter, you're also a manufacturer. So I think with the merge of the JMA and the JEA, is bringing together a much larger size lobbying group to be able to grow the industry, grow the exports, grow the manufacturing industry, and to be able to lobby government to ensure that we have, and we don't want anything free from government, you know, what we're saying, or from the taxpayers of this country. What we want is an environment that we can operate to be able to grow, so we can grow this economy, because they've tried everything. They've pushed on tourism, they're pushing BPO, they're pushing agriculture, but nobody has ever really focused on pushing the manufacturing sector. And we're just going about it in our own ways. And what needs to be known is that the manufacturing sector, and I have no bones to tell anybody, plain and straight, that we are second to bank in the financial sector, which is the first in the amount of tax. They pay about $55 billion in taxes. The manufacturing sector pays just about the same much, maybe a tad below it, but we're going to beat them very, very shortly. So it is a very important sector. Manufacturing creates wealth in a nation, creates higher scale paid jobs, creates foreign exchange earnings, because you're now reducing imports by producing locally made products and making available locally made products to the industry. So it is a win-win for everybody. And what we want is government, opposition, and the people of Jamaica to realize the importance of this sector to grow in this nation. And we've done everything, but we haven't been able to get the growth. Let's focus on those industries too, which are very important: tourism, BPOs, and agriculture, very important. That linkage needs to be created and grown, but the manufacturing sector is a main industry that's going to carry this nation. We've been carrying it for a very long time, but nobody realized how important. I mean, $55 billion, second to the major taxpayer of this country, which is banking, is now second in line to banking in terms of taxes. That's a big, huge sum that they need to look at and pay very strict attention to.
I believe the merger between GMA and JEA is actually a very good thing. I think that there are natural synergies between the two companies, and I think that there are tremendous cost-saving implications. And the merger, to me, would just create a stronger organization. For my company, what I would want out of that merger is just ease of doing business, actually, you know, greater facilitation with doing businesses, especially export business, you know. I think that the GMA understands the manufacturing side of our businesses, and the JEA understands the export side, and where those two can collaborate to help me to fine-tune my business activities. I really look forward to that, and I believe they would be able to deliver that. A one-stop shop is always better than going to multiple places.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life, highlighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life turns art, I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
Business current affairs you can relate to. Frank, credible discussion. On point, dissecting the issues. Offering solutions to Jamaica's challenges. On Point, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
It's World Habitat Day, and this year's theme is even more poignant as we look at how we can use technology to sustainably manage our surroundings. Here in Jamaica, the government, through the Ministries of Local Government and Economic Growth and Job Creation, have been partnering to ensure that all waste produced by human activity is properly managed. One of the latest initiatives is a pilot project which will see the repurposing of tires at the island's dumps as energy for the Carib Cement Company Limited. You too can play your part by properly discarding your garbage. Let's all play our part to make Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business. Our program continues with a message, then the news, so stay with us.
Keep we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it. Keep we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it.
No dash no paper, no dash no plastic. Dispose your garbage responsibly. No know how to recycle, learn it quick. And if you drop it, better pick up every piece of it. Plastics last forever, don't forget the bits. Cause when them touch the street, them end up in the sea. Collect pan the reef where they fish them feed. And when you want seafood, I eat your
Keep
eat.
we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it. No dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, October 7. Jamaica is to create the first Caribbean green bond listing on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. The move is expected to place the island as the Caribbean country of choice to conduct climate-smart business and sustainable business. Almost $583,000 US in support has been approved by the Green Climate Fund, GCF. Jamaica's proposal, which was submitted on August 12, was approved by the GCF on October 4.
We recognize that the government's budget will not be enough in ensuring a strong local response to building resilience. However, we also recognize that the government has a key role to play as market maker and regulator in mobilizing, incentivizing, and partnering with the private sector in financing areas of strategic climate action.
Prime Minister Holness was addressing Monday's opening of the Green Climate Fund Private Investment for Climate Conference, GPIC. The October 7 to 9 summit is being held in Incheon, Republic of Korea. The GPIC is a global marketplace where private and public sector entities come together to accelerate climate action in developing countries. While in the Republic of Korea, Mr. Holness is expected to lead a panel discussion on moving climate ambitions forward. The Prime Minister met with the Deputy Executive Director of the Green Climate Fund, Javier Manzanares. He also met with the Jamaican diaspora in the Asian country. National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang is in charge of government, while Prime Minister Holness is on assignment. Technology Minister Favour Williams is reiterating calls for Jamaicans to become more aware of cyber threats and take the necessary steps to safeguard their data. Minister Williams says as the world becomes more connected, issues surrounding cyber threats, data privacy, and protection are becoming more commonplace.
Additionally, to the business people and government, our systems and networks need to be equipped with state-of-the-art protection mechanisms to mitigate cyber attacks as best as possible. As individuals, businesses, and government, we have to raise the awareness of the value of protecting our data and taking the necessary steps to ensure that as far as possible we secure our systems.
Minister Williams was speaking recently at the DESCON 2019 Security and Encryption Conference. The technology minister says while the ability to connect and engage with technology for business and other pursuits has become a great enabler for growth and development, it also has its disadvantages in the form of cyber attacks and cyber threats.
Cybersecurity experts predict that by 2021, cyber crimes will cost the world about $6 trillion a year. Global ransomware damage costs are predicted to hit $20 billion US, and businesses will fall victim to a ransomware attack every 11 seconds, up from every 14 seconds.
Consequently, the minister is appealing to business operators to train their employees in cybersecurity. The Senate on Friday approved a 90-day extension of the State of Public Emergency SOE for the St. Andrews South Police Division. Since the start of the operation in July, murders have reduced by 58% and shootings by 47%. 12 firearms, 120 ammunitions, and 8 magazines were also recovered, while 11 persons have been arrested and charged. Leader of Government Business Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith said while the SOE has had successes, the division is not yet where it needs to be. She said a committee is being established to track success under the SOEs.
The Prime Minister had indicated that there would be a quote-unquote epoch-style oversight committee established to monitor progress, and that the framework for this, however, had to be developed. He had charged persons to set up a working group within the partnership, and they are working through and with this ACON group that has been mentioned to take that matter forward.
Approximately $1 billion in savings to the government has been realized from the rationalization of public bodies to date. Executive Director of the Transformation Implementation Unit, TIU, in the Ministry of Finance, Maria Thompson-Walters, made the disclosure at a JIS think tank recently.
Our finance team is working to create a model to track those savings back into the consolidated fund. So those are real savings, not just things that we add up on a piece of paper, and to ensure that the consolidated fund is impacted positively from the action that we're doing, and that we have funds available to deal with areas such as health, security, and education.
Mrs. Thompson-Walters says 30 public bodies have been rationalized to date, with plans in place for another 18 entities to be merged or reintegrated into their parent ministries by the end of the calendar year. Among the objectives of the rationalization process are to ensure greater efficiency and effectiveness in public sector service delivery, reduce costs, and improve governance. The Ministry of Health and Wellness is urging the public to take precautionary measures to reduce the likelihood of being struck by lightning. Over the last 4 weeks, a child died shortly after being struck by lightning, while a number of schoolboys have been injured by the weather element during football matches. In a release, the ministry states that a lightning bolt is 1,000,000 times more powerful than household current, as it carries up to 100 million volts of electricity. When someone is struck by lightning, an electrical shock occurs that can cause burns and even stop the person's heart or breathing. The ministry says as the latter part of the hurricane season approaches, thunderstorms are more likely to occur, and any thunderstorm is a potential killer since they generate lightning. Persons should therefore pay attention to weather forecasts, allowing time to plan for threatening weather. Stay inside a well-constructed building away from conducting elements such as water and electrical wires or devices. If on the outside, stay away from trees and halt recreational activities in or on water. Wait at least 30 minutes before resuming, avoiding plumbing or electrical circuits. If inside a vehicle, roll the windows up and do not touch the outer frame of the car. If a person is struck by lightning, they should get immediate medical attention. And finally, the government is establishing international branches of the Global Tourism Resilience and Crisis Management Center. The first satellite center will be established at the Kenyatta University in Nairobi, Kenya in December. The second will be opened in Morocco in January 2020, the third in South Africa in March 2020, and thereafter in Nigeria and Seychelles. Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett says the satellite network is one of several key outcomes emerging from discussions at the recent United Nations World Tourism Organization meeting in Russia.
The Resilience Center has also established strong relations with the Global Resilience Council in London. What that partnership after would do is that the council would be responsible for international seminars on behalf of
The tourism minister made the disclosure at a recent press conference in New Kingston. The Global Tourism Resilience and Crisis Management Center, based at the University of the West Indies, Mona, is managed by the Ministry of Tourism. The center is established to build and fortify the capacity of tourism-dependent economies to deal with shocks impacting the industry. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Garbage collection, maintenance of public sanitary conveniences, upkeep of cemeteries, provision of water shops, road improvement, street lights, poor relief programs, community beautification. All these services are funded by you. Yes, they are, when you pay your property tax. Pay your annual property tax to make Jamaica the place of choice for all.
Government is serious about providing affordable housing solutions for its citizens. Hear more from Prime Minister Andrew Holness.
Now is the time to be optimistic about the future. Now is the time to build the new Jamaica which we all desire.
The National Housing Trust NHT will also make owning a home easier. As of May 1, all NHT mortgages will see a 1% reduction in their interest rates. The income bands have been expanded to allow mortgages to access home grants. Prospective mortgages will have access to $6.5 million, a $1 million increase. There will be an increase in the construction loan limit for NHT lots. And starting May 1, the Trust will introduce intergenerational mortgages.
This budget is not just giving back to a certain class of people. This budget is providing something for everyone in Jamaica.
The National Housing Trust has set aside $39.4 billion to increase home ownership on the island in its 2019-20 budget. Of the 8,640 housing starts to be initiated, 4,714 are expected to be completed in the year. Partnerships have been struck with the Housing Agency of Jamaica to regularize communities in 5 parishes. 33 housing schemes across 11 parishes will be upgraded at a cost of $1.7 billion. The Trust will also be securing communities built through a $2 billion 7-parish police station upgrading project. And the housing component of HOPE will be initiated with a new $1 billion social housing program.
We are going to be looking specifically now at people who have physical disabilities and the very poor.
Hurricanes can strike at any time. In the event of one, be prepared to act quickly. If a hurricane watch or warning has been issued, review your home disaster response plan. Map out likely routes to evacuate if your home is at risk and confirm with relatives or friends you plan to stay with. Also, confirm the location of the nearest shelter. Check your emergency supplies and restock if necessary. Remember, disasters do happen, so be prepared.
A key component of ensuring that Jamaicans can access housing solutions is the proper management of our lands. See how the responsible agency accomplishes this.
Becoming a landowner is a significant feat for most people. That feeling of entitlement and success of being able to turn your own key and say, "Welcome to my home." This could be you, and the government is doing its part through the Adjudication Services Division of the National Land Agency.
Systematic registration is defined as the process of land titling through a determined jurisdiction and it's performed on a commune by commune basis. Now, what exactly does that mean? It means that it's the methodical and orderly registration of parcels of land in a designated area using the adjudication process. Adjudication is defined as the process through which existing rights in a parcel of land are finally and authoritatively ascertained. Key things to note: adjudication doesn't alter existing rights or create new ones. It merely establishes what rights exist on ground.
Now that we've established the definition of these very important terms, let's get down to the meat of the matter. You have a piece of land, or you've been living on land that you do not have the title for, but have legitimate claims. Let's find out how you can go about becoming certified landowners utilizing the National Land Agency's adjudication services.
Systematic registration may be new to Jamaica, but it's certainly not new to the world. At the National Land Agency, we have a wealth of information on unregistered land parcels in Jamaica. So currently we know that the parishes with the lowest rates of registration are Portland and St. Elizabeth. So we'll definitely be targeting those two parishes. The mandate of the Adjudication Services Division is to assist landowners who have been in open, undisturbed and undisputed possession of their land for upwards of 12 years to claim ownership of their land via systematic registration using the adjudication process. There's a proposed adjudication process for systematic registration, and we have benchmarked other jurisdictions, and the adjudication process will entail the following. The first is the identification of an adjudication area, project area. The next step will look at what are the areas in those parishes where there's a lot of economic activity, or they're near town centers, probably farmlands, where these farmers will be able to benefit from having a certificate of title to use as collateral security. Once an area has been identified, a recommendation will be made to the minister to declare that area as an area for systematic registration.
Surveying will go hand in hand with the adjudication process, so you can look out for the team from the Adjudication Services Division, as they will be situated within the selected communities. These teams will be visiting households parcel by parcel, interviewing landowners and investigating whether or not they have been in open, undisturbed and undisputed possession of their land for over 12 years.
The adjudication record, it will be published in a daily newspaper circulating not only in Jamaica but across the diaspora. So it's not only notice to community members and notice to Jamaica, but it is notice to the world that persons are claiming to be the owners of land. Now, let me start with the positive. Where there are no objections to the adjudication record, as the director, I'll be able to issue what is known as an adjudication certificate. And this adjudication certificate will be deemed to be conclusive proof of ownership. This is now the documentary proof that the person on that certificate is in fact the owner of the land. Where there are objections, however, all these objections will be referred to the adjudication committees, and adjudication committees are established in accordance with Section 9 of the Special Provisions Act to determine ownership rights in land.
Now that I've given you the basic information that you need to regularize your status as a landowner, it's now up to you to make that step. All the best.
Protect yourself from the flu virus. Visit your nearest health center or doctor to get the flu vaccine. Cover your mouth and nose when coughing and sneezing. Wash your hands regularly with soap and water or by using an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Avoid the spread of germs by not touching your eyes, mouth, or nose. And be sure to regularly disinfect surfaces and objects that are used often. Remember, your health is your responsibility.
Though World Teachers' Day was celebrated on October 5, we continue to highlight the important role the men and women who educate the society play in our development. Take a look.
Jamaica is becoming numb. We are bombarded with all kinds of savagery and dastardly acts that the level of sensitivity which would spur the nation to stand up and say no more, that sensitivity, that edge is being dulled, and we're becoming more accepting. It is the teachers who will have to draw the line in the sand and defend our moral standards. Because each time someone is murdered in a community or a child is killed, and then children start to become accustomed to this, there is a devaluation in the importance of life. And if there is no reinforcement of the importance of life, then we continue to slide down this very slippery slope. So teachers have to have in them, and principals in how they structure their schools, programs to reinforce these very important values. You have to care. When everybody else is giving up, you cannot give up. More than the lessons you deliver and the instructions you give in the classroom, you cannot give up on our children.
Businesses operating within parishes under the state of emergency, your closing time has been extended. In St. Catherine and Clarendon, clubs, fast food restaurants, petrol stations, and establishments operating under a tavern license, your opening hours are 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. For supermarkets, grocery shops, haberdasheries, and other businesses, opening hours are 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. In Westmoreland, Hanover, and St. James, business closing time is between 10 p.m. and midnight.
As we celebrate Heritage Month this October, we take a look at the work of the Jamaica National Heritage Trust in preserving our artifacts.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Headquarters House, home of the Jamaica National Heritage Trust. We're going to take you through some of the ropes in the methods in conservation, so please come along with us. Thanks for joining us in our conservation lab. We have here working with us Mr. Darrington Ferguson as well as Mr. Frank Gale, and we'll be looking at some of the methods they will be applying to different material types for the preservation of our material culture of Jamaica. First of all, we have here some cannonballs that are usually found with some extent of corrosion. Mr. Ferguson is actually removing mechanically some of the concretion from a cannonball, and after he has removed that, then we would wire it. This wired metal object we would then install in our electrolytic tank. In the process of electrolysis, what we are actually doing, we are primarily reversing the process of corrosion. Once it has been electrolyzed, it would look something like this. So we would then proceed to brush to remove any loose rust that would be left on it. We would then put the iron object in some pure water, which we call deionized water, and that would be heated to ensure that the metal itself would facilitate the extraction of any impurities that might be left in the body of the iron. After that, we would dry the iron object. Most times we dry it in alcohol, and that would remove the water from the body of the object. And after drying, we would take a substance we call tannic acid, applying several coats, and it would form somewhat a stable surface for the iron object. And then the final stage is waxing to provide a coating or a lacquer on the surface of the iron object. Here we have Mr. Gale. He's actually applying orthophosphoric acid to remove slight rusting or corrosion from the case of a sword. He is actually using what we call a chemical as well as a mechanical means of so doing. We have close to it the extractor system, which is used to remove harmful fumes from the atmosphere in order to make the environment a much healthier one in which and a safer one for us to work. Lead corrodes by forming mainly lead sulfide and lead carbonate. So we would be soaking it first of all in ammonium acetate, and that would basically remove within a few hours the lead carbonate. In order to remove any residue of ammonium acetate that might be left on the lead, we would then rinse it quickly for a short time period. Just rinse it in a bath of a very dilute solution of hydrochloric acid. If there are any corrosion left at that stage, then we would remove that mechanically, either very likely with a glass bristle brush. After that, we do as we would with the iron. Coming over here now, we have copper or copper material. We have been soaking this copper in a substance we prepare in the lab, which we call alkaline Rochelle salt. The alkaline Rochelle salt will remove from it largely what we call bronze disease. So we soak it in the solution. The chemical will dissolve the bronze disease. After that has been dissolved, then we would rinse in, for example, a dilute solution of sulfuric acid to remove any slight impurities or corrosion product that might be left there. After that, we will, as we do with the other metals, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you were well informed by the information we've imparted today, and you're welcome to join us at any time, particularly at our heritage sites. And when you see our heritage sites, you see the artifacts that are there, you will appreciate to a greater extent the effort that has gone into its preservation.
And that's all the time we have on this station, but only for today. We return tomorrow, round about the same time. Until then, your engagement with us doesn't have to end with this show. Send an email to jamaicamagazine@gis.gov.jm. Join us on all the major social media sites. Visit our website and download our mobile app. You may also subscribe to our YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire team here at the GIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life, highlighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life turns art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, I mean, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
The ICAJ hosts their annual business conference here at the Jamaica Pegasus under the theme Megatrends 3.0, Changing Times, Changing Strategies. I'm your host, Mita Prasad Webb. Please stay tuned for highlights.
The world is changing. We're talking about this everywhere I go. The pace of change is unprecedented. And so, yes, I know we're accountants, but our acumen on technology, we're going to have to beef it up. We're going to have to know about big data, cloud, cybersecurity, virtual reality. This is not an environment of tomorrow where you can say, well, I'm just a numbers person. Those days are over. And so today, what we're talking about is that technology makes things a little more seamless. So we always talk about what happened with Blockbuster. We talk about what happened with Kodak. These are case studies that'll be around for years and years. But unfortunately, there are some iconic companies that will be case studies as well. It'll be Radio Shack, might be Yahoo, it might be Toys R Us, it might be Borders. There are companies that I grew up with that I thought would always be here, and yet they're gone. So the question is, will you be here in 3 to 5 years? Will your company be here in 3 to 5 years? And what are you doing about it today to make sure that you will be? So when we talk about the world, I meet people who will say, well, Kimberly, I'm just here in my bubble. No one's going to touch it here. Guess what? I was here before I was here. I've been communicating with your team at the Institute of Chartered Jamaican Accountants for probably close to 6 to 7 months. And so if that is the case, that means that just me not physically being here isn't something you're just like, oh, she's not here, I shouldn't be worried. You should be worried because technology means we're only one click away. And so as Jamaica grows and the economy grows, what you don't want is for companies to bring in other accountants. Because you are the supply, you are the experts, you are the professionals. When they're looking for someone to build a new practice area or to lead a new division, they should be here with the Jamaican accountants. It shouldn't be, oh, we got to pull someone else from the U.S. or another island or here or there. Now, that could be what they want to do, but they shouldn't have to do. And so when we talk about change and what does that mean, there's good news and bad news. The good news is, as a profession, we're purposeful, we're data-driven, we don't like ambiguity. We're really good at giving you answers. We're organized. We like checklists because most of us prefer to go down checklists. We're compliant. We make sure we're following the rules. We're rule followers. We're all of those things. And no matter where I go, there are some things about us that are the same no matter where I go. And that's the good news. The bad news is that we're purposeful, we're data-driven, we don't like uncertainty. Because in a time where you have to be innovative, in a time where you need ideas that are so out there that someone says, that'll never work. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the ideas that people would say would never work. Because what I know is this, surely they told Larry Ellison that. Surely they probably told Bill Gates that. Surely they told Mark Zuckerberg that. Surely they told any one of the leaders who are here today and are billionaires, they said that'll never work. That's the innovation that we have to open up our minds and hearts to. And that's what we have to recognize in the megatrend environment of changing times. Recognizing that what we do and how we do it has to evolve and change. So we've got some trends. And I'll just give a couple of things that I do to stay abreast of everything. And I know it's hard because you're like, Kimberly, it's so much. I've got kids, I've got work, I've got elderly care, parents, elder care I need to do. I get it. It is busy. But somehow you've got to figure out how to source the information when you need it. Now, for me, I have a lot of different data sources. I've got FASB alerts, SEC, the Journal of Accountancy, the Maryland Statement. I've got the Fortune, Forbes, Wall Street Journal, all of these different alerts coming into my phone and into my email so that I'll know what's going on in the business world around me. Because you can't ask really good questions. You can't manage risk if you're isolated. That's why understanding the trends around you are so important, because you're going to miss something if you don't pay attention. And so, yes, you've got to pay attention to Brexit. You've got to pay attention to what's going on in Venezuela and geopolitical instability. Your companies could be multinational, and there's opportunities for you to go and work in different offices. Yes, you have to pay attention to what's going on in the financial world as it relates to who's able to pay their bills and who's going to bankrupt on their obligations, and who, with the tariffs that are currently, that argument that's going back and forth. You have to have enough awareness to know where to go. You don't have to memorize it, but you do need to say, when I need it, where can I go find it? Get that source in your environment. And then from a regulatory complexity perspective, the regulations are changing. There's an opportunity for you to add feedback. I'm sure the Institute would, lobby a position on your behalf if they knew that there was a position. You have to be active participants in the environment that we're in. And I know in Maryland, they'll ask us to write letters. They'll ask us to show up. Hopefully you're showing up and you're participating in your own environment and being an advocate for the profession. And then, of course, the two areas I left were technology and workforce changes. From a technology perspective, we know that in today's world, we've got the Internet of Things. We've got refrigerators that can call out for soda. When you walk in a grocery store, your phone starts beeping with aisle 9, aisle 10. We know that when I grew up, it was the Jetsons, and having a robot in your home was like a thing of unbelievable. It just wouldn't happen. And yet, if I say the wrong word, Google is like, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. And isn't that nerve-wracking a little bit, right? That they would even wake up to know that you said some word. The world is changing. And so even as we talk about workforce changes, a lot of those workforce changes are coming from our generational differences. Our Zs, born typically in the late 1990s and the 2000s, and our millennial colleagues born in 1982, about late 90s, they don't want to work the same way that Gen X. I'm a Gen X. And they don't want to work the same way. And I get that. The quality of life, you want to have the ability to have the summer, you want to live, you want to see the world. But you know what? There's no fun without finance. Because how many of you have ever been on a vacation without any money? There is no fun in that. So you need a great job to fund your habits. Our young people can mentor us, our young colleagues. They deserve their seat at the table. Yet at the same time, people who are boomers and traditionalists, they also have context and wisdom. There is a compromise and meeting of the minds. And I'm so delighted that I get to talk about what that means. And so technology is everywhere. And a lot of times, boomers mostly, and some traditionalists, they're in denial sometimes. So if you're in those categories, they say, well, Kimberly, this too shall pass. Well, I don't think social media is going to pass. I mean, I get it, and I say this everywhere I go because I'm going to own it. When Facebook came out, I was years before I actually had a Facebook page, because I was like, who wants to see me at the sunset? Who cares what I have for dinner? I mean, I was just like, does it even matter? And those famous last words, I wouldn't be working now if I got in the stock what I should have. So I say that to say, let's not ignore this by thinking this is going to pass, because it's not. Especially when you see in the manufacturing environments. That was before automation. This is after automation. Now, it might not be your job function, but if you're doing anything that a machine can do, over time, your companies may make tough decisions about who does that work. Okay? So it doesn't have to be scary if you're prepared. So we all need to bring our A game and pay attention to the mega trends, because it's important. We know that technology is driving transformation. If you were able to go into your environment and save money, figure out how to create and drive revenue, enable transformation, imagine how much more valuable you would be. Imagine how well positioned you would be if they were making tough choices.
What are the key points of your presentation this morning?
So the key points of my presentation are that we have to continually evolve and change, and looking at the trends will help us be in a better position.
Is this your first time here at the Chartered Accountants Conference?
Yes! This is amazing. The energy, the enthusiasm. I walked into this room and immediately felt energized, like caffeine. So I'm really excited to be here.
How would you say conferences of this nature benefit the industry?
So conferences like this, and what I really want to call out is that the president talked about doing a conference that wasn't about technical themes. So this conference that talks about other things that make us well-rounded, that give us perspective, that help us grow and learn, I think are amazing, because this is exactly what we need to know. We need to know what's going on in the world around us, and we need to discuss how those help us in our day-to-day jobs and how we may need to change our strategies.
Talk to us about the theme of your presentation, changing times, changing strategies.
So I really followed the conference theme, and I really wanted it to be informative. I wanted it to be a call to action. I wanted to talk about what every person in this room could do to be intentional and to be accountable. And so changing times just speaks to how technology is changing everything, and we need to change our strategies. So I think they're related, and I'm excited about that.
Is there anything else you want to add?
I think that we are all capable easily of doing what we need. When we talk about inspirational, motivational, hard work, persistence, high integrity, ethics, that's the very definition of the Institute of Chartered Jamaican Accountants. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they do in the future.
Full-service HR solutions. Whether attempting to increase market share, improve profitability, or add staff, every company is trying to grow. Unfortunately, every company also encounters challenges and experiences pain during the growth process. Not surprisingly, many executives don't have the time to address these challenges without shifting their focus away from revenue-generating tasks. That's where we come in. At Doggin Global, we're passionate about helping people like you grow their businesses, take better care of their employees, and enjoy a higher quality of life. And we've been doing just that for more than 17 years. What sets Doggin Global apart from other HR outsourcing firms is our ability to create customized and scalable service offerings that not only meet your organization's current needs, but also can grow as your business grows. Why our model works. We deliver our HR services in one of two ways, either through a professional employer organization arrangement, PEO, or through an administrative services organization, ASO, arrangement. Professional employer organization, PEO. Under a professional employer organization arrangement, your company enters a co-employment relationship with Doggin Global. This allows us to act as the employer of record for your business, facilitating shared liability with Doggin Global on employee-related matters. This arrangement also gives us full authority to perform many of the tedious administrative tasks associated with being an employer, payroll administration, benefits reconciliation, etc., on your behalf and process all employee-related taxes under our tax identification number. Administrative Services Organization, ASO. Doggin Global ASO model allows you to pick and choose from our wide array of services to create a custom offering designed to support or supplement your current in-house HR staff or internal processes. This a la carte approach is more like traditional business process outsourcing and vendor-client relationships, and works best for large and established companies that already have an HR infrastructure in place. For additional information, contact us at email info@doggin.global, website www.doggin.global.
Sundays at 4:30 p.m. It's all about Home Sweet Home. Get your half-hour dose of the business of real estate, from laws and concepts to reality, building, buying, or renting. Or what about trends in decor or renovations? Home Sweet Home will keep you up to date.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show, and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
If you look at the major economies of the world, so we looked at about 46 or 50 of the major economies, and we said, okay, are they seeing growth or not? And that chart tells you what percentage of those economies is seeing positive growth. And so what you've seen is, this is the first time going back 10 years that so many countries around the world, including here in Jamaica, by the way, are seeing strong growth. So it's a good thing, right? We've got, not only do we have strong economic growth globally, it's also synchronized. And that's generally a good thing because you want all countries to be sort of, you want a rising tide that lifts all the boats. The evidence from tariffs is that you end up supporting unproductive companies making horrible products at very high prices. I'm also a Gen Xer, as Kimberly is. I grew up in India. I can testify to crappy products at high prices made by horrible companies that shouldn't have existed, right? And so I'm sure there's folks in this room who can understand that as well. On the business side, we have companies coming in saying, oh, come on, I saw all this big global growth, there was tax reform, I was going to make all these waves of investments to capitalize, now you're telling me my supply chains are going to get messed up. So most companies are sort of in wait-and-see mode now. There's also a bunch of firms that saying, you know what, I'm going to try to find local substitutes, and are coming to us and saying, I can't find them. I can't find local substitutes. So what am I going to do, right? Now, that's the broad evidence. Personally, I'm actually not sure what's going to happen. If that's what's going to happen, or if we might actually see some benefit, because there are examples, the little thing on the blue, which is hard to read, there are examples where tariffs have worked. Many Asian economies where companies have been protected for a while, as long as there is competition and as long as there's a push for productivity and investment, you actually do see the tariffs sometimes do work. So that gets us to why all of this is happening, which I think is useful for people to understand, certainly from the US perspective. What happens to the exchange rate? So the theory, the economic theory would tell you that all these tariffs at the end of the day are not going to make a difference because the currency will adjust and imports will become cheaper, exports will become more expensive, and you'll end up with a trade deficit again. You might see, a reallocation. So maybe there won't be as much metals imports, but there'll be some other imports, right? And so overall, the trade deficit will remain the same. That's quite possible. One thing that we've seen is when you look at the US dollar against a bunch of its trading partners, one of the reasons we think that the supply chain has gotten hollowed out is because the exchange rate, this is a chart of the US dollar against a bunch of currencies. The US dollar appreciated in the late 90s, and that is coincident with this sort of decline as a domestic supply chain. A lot of people call out attention to China, but it's not just China, it's the appreciation of the dollar. And what we've seen is that the dollar has stayed at a high value against some of these trading partners since then. So against the Japanese, against the Koreans, you've seen that the dollar has stayed high. And so it is entirely possible that the dollar might adjust, which means that we may end up in a situation back in the 1980s, which again has implications for trade. Now, any of you might remember your history. In the early 1980s with the Reagan administration, we went through something similar to what we're going through now, right? Voluntary restraints on imports, tariffs on a bunch of imports. The target then was Japan and Europe. Now it's China. It didn't work. It didn't work because the exchange rate appreciated and the deficit stayed. And so we ended up with what's called the Plaza Accords of 1985, which was a devaluation of the US dollar, effectively. Some of those people who were involved in those negotiations back in the 1980s are in the administration today. So you might see, I personally would be watching for that to see what happens to the exchange rate. But I am here to tell you, as I tell most of the companies that we work with, if you are holding your breath expecting that all this tariff noise will go away, you should probably start breathing. We have a very resilient global economy, strong, sustained growth for several years, especially over the last 3 or 4 years, but you're starting to see this concern. And one of the concerns, the most important concern that we're seeing from businesses is what is happening with all this trade and geopolitical uncertainty. And what is happening is the fact that there is an escalation, no question, and the escalation is happening under trade auspices that give the administration in the US a lot of authority and a lot of leeway to change practices. And if you look at the words that are coming out of the administration, you will see consistent language about this. Most of that is geared towards the third point, that is to turn around 20 years of a decline in the US supply chain and try to make things better there through more domestic sourcing, through more investment, and through more protectionist policies. And is that going to work? Is anybody's guess? The record, the empirical evidence is not strong. But then we've also not had this kind of a situation where you've got an administration saying, we're going to try to do this.
Give us some feedback on your presentation today.
Well, I think, we wanted to make the point about what's going on with the broader global economy, issues around trade and tariffs, which I know are on top of mind for most people. They are concerned about what they're seeing coming out of the US. And so we wanted to make sure that we kind of covered some of those issues. I think the main point that I wanted to make was that we are in slightly a different environment where you do have a lot of global growth going on. It's been 10 years since the global economy has been in this situation where there's been such strong growth. And so having these trade issues, these tariffs issues are a little bit of a cloud that a lot of business executives have been telling us are certainly concerns for us, and so that's why we've been developing a perspective on that.
Speak to some of the trends in your field and how they help or harm our local trade.
Well, I think there's a couple of trends that I'd probably call out. One is the fact that even though you've had very strong global growth, it hasn't translated to the kind of global trade and investment flows that we've got used to at least last decade. So 10 years ago, we were in a strong period of global growth, and there was a lot of global trade, there was a lot of global investment, cross-border flows of services and goods. This time, it's still strong growth, but there's not commensurate growth in trade and investment. And so one of the things that we've been trying to figure out is why that's happening. And then certainly now that you've seen more action on tariffs coming from the US administration, that's also acting as a dampener on further growth of trade and investment. So I think one of the big things that we're seeing is the fact that most people have been wondering whether the tariffs are really going to, are they going to stick around? Do just wait it out? And one of the points we've been trying to make is to understand why the tariffs are coming by looking at issues around the domestic supply chain, particularly in some of these advanced industries, where what we've seen is that over the last 20 years or so, the majority of the growth that the American manufacturing sector has seen has not been shared by small and mid-sized companies in the domestic supply chain. All of that growth has gone to the largest companies, and the smaller and mid-sized firms in the domestic supply chain, by and large, have seen negative growth rates. You've seen companies or establishments shutting down. And that matters because the majority of workers, the majority of investment is in that supply chain. And so when the supply chain doesn't see strong growth, it has a knock-on effect on things like wage growth, or investment growth, or technology readiness, or productivity growth, right? And so that's really what we're seeing, or what we're looking for is when you have this new kind of environment around tariffs, is that combined with things like tax reform, is that actually going to see, are you actually going to see a wave of investment coming into the supply chain? That's what we're looking for.
Talk to us about what's unique about the design of this conference.
This conference is geared towards getting persons prepared for the change that is happening, the disruption that is happening in the world today, and for our leaders to understand the change and what it means for them. And that's what's unique about it. In fact, that we are focusing on it. It's not really a numbers crunching IFRS conference. It's really a true business conference where we can focus on other things outside of accounting.
What were some expectations that you had of this conference?
First of all, I expected to have a very high level of participation from our members and from the business community. I expect that our presenters would deliver on the topics that were selected for them in accordance with the objectives of the ICAJ. And so far, we are very pleased that we are meeting those objectives. It's changing time, changing strategies, and we really like to impart knowledge to our membership and to the business community, so I think that expectation is paramount.
More from the ICAJ Business Conference when we return.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
If you are just joining us, Business Access TV is here at the Jamaica Pegasus for the ICAJ Annual Business Conference.
Let's talk about encryption for a little bit. Encryption today is not what it used to be. Encryption today is actually very, very simple. I mean, you can do it on your phone, on your laptop, on your tablets with just a couple of clicks. So by all means, encrypt the data that you consider sensitive. It's very easy to do, and it's a very, very effective way to achieve data security. If an app that you're looking at or looking at installing, if it seems too good to be true, chances are it really is too good to be true. I mean, this one app is not going to change the world with just a couple of clicks. That's not impossible. You want to ensure that only the applications that you have on your devices are the applications that are necessary for the execution of your function, of your job function. So don't have things that are installed on there that, you know, is just on there just because it looks kind of cool. It's nice to have that sort of stuff. Many times those apps, especially the ones that seem too good to be true, all they are backdoors for stealing your data. Email is the most widely used tool to compromise data security. It's a low-hanging fruit. The truth is, hackers by nature are actually very lazy people that really don't have to work hard for what it is that they're getting. So if they can do something, if they can send out 1 million emails with malicious content or malicious link, all they're really interested in is that 100 people click on it. They're not really interested that 1 million people have actually clicked on it. And really and truly is, as a hacker, they actually don't want to be in your environment, because if they're in your environment, then the likelihood of getting caught increases. So if they can do it remotely, it's much better for them. And they do that by email, by sending an email with a compromised link or a compromised attachment. So always think before you click on any form of attachments that with any email at all. I'll actually take a step back and say to you, think before you even open the email. Because I've seen situations today where the email will come with an attachment, but the attachment is a self-executing attachment. So once you click on the email itself, the attachment executes in the background, steals your data. I know there's a practice that, especially for people who use Outlook, to have the preview pane of the email up and running, because it makes life easier. It is, because you can quickly glance at the preview pane and say, all right, this is what it's about, and you can make a decision about whether to act or not to act. I'd actually recommend that you turn it off, because those self-executing emails actually run once the preview pane comes up. Another thing that you want to do is you want to keep your systems up to date. You want to ensure that the applications that are running on your devices, whether it's your phone, your tablet, or your computer, are up to date. Nearly all the time a vendor releases an update, it's nearly always to fix a security hole. Oftentimes, a small portion of the time is for functionality. If they're going to release functionality, they actually release a new version of the application. But once they publish an update for the application, nearly all the time, it is a security-related hole that they're trying to fix. There are so many vulnerabilities that exist today with so many applications that you have to, as soon as a newer version comes out, you want to ensure that you keep your system up to date and install the latest versions of software. It's often you have applications or you have data on your devices, and the usage of that data is just, you have it just because. No, don't keep data on your machine just because you need to have it on there. Because it becomes unused over time, it becomes old and you forget about it, and then the next time you remember about it is when you're in the headlines because, suddenly company data is out there, your machine was compromised, and you remember, oh, I had this folder on my machine. One of the things that we recommend is that once you're done, you set expiration on the data sets that you're using. So once you're done with something, after the reasonable reporting period has passed, move it, archive it into a secure location, an offsite storage or something like that. Now, backup is often not associated with security. It's often associated with other components of IT. But backup is actually a very important component in security. If we think back to the security triad, backup is affected by the availability component of that triad. Now, think of if, for argument's sake, you suffered a compromise of any kind, and your data becomes corrupt or lost or anything like that. The absence of a functioning or a proper backup means that the data is no longer available. It means that the system is no longer available. It means that the application is no longer available. And you have failed the availability component of the triad, and therefore you have failed data security. So it's very important to have verifiable backups. Don't just back up your data and say, all right, fine, I'll copy these files over to this folder, I'll run the backup process in this application, and it has copied the file and stored them in a location, in a secure location. Always verify them. We've seen an example where we were called in to investigate a compromise, and the compromise was so bad that we said to the customer, look, give me a backup set, let's start to recover from the backup set. And they diligently showed us the log of their backups. The backup happened every night. The technician checked it off that it was backed up and so on. But when we went to the backup was actually compromised as well. So they're ticking it off that it's being backed up, but nobody is checking to say, is this backup a backup of the compromised data? It just so happens that it was backup of the compromised data, but the backup runs and it says it's completed successfully, and they tick the box. Yes, we've backed up our data. One of the things that I'd recommend here also is that security awareness training, one of the things that we try to do is we try to connect it personally. I know a lot of times, people are doing their jobs and they kind of abstract their work life from their personal life. So one of the things that we do is we try to connect security and data security in particular to your own personal situation. So we'll talk about things like, consider things like how would a compromise of your bank accounts affect you personally, right? And think about all the emotions and everything that goes with that. You can't pay a mortgage and all of that sort of stuff. Think about what will happen if that exact same compromise would happen in the company's bank accounts. People can't get paid, suppliers can't get paid, and that sort of stuff. So one of the things I do, if you try to connect it on a personal level, and you see the gravity or the impact of the situation personally, then it's easier to translate that into business. Achieving data security is not a line in the sand that you draw and you say, boy, all right? I've done all of these things, so my data is now secure. It's a continual process. You have to keep assessing. You have to keep looking at your data needs, your data assets, and saying, all right, is the risk that we face today the same tomorrow? And you have to continually improve. It's a process of continual improvement. I think in security, in the security circles, we have a common thought that there are really just two types of businesses in the world. Those who have been hacked and those who don't know they've been hacked. And that's a reality. It takes about, the average security incident takes about 30 days to be discovered. And for companies that their pockets are, they're deep and they're invested in it, it may take another 180 days to recover from it. So it could be up to a year in many instances that you don't even know that you've been compromised. Many businesses don't ever recover from a compromise. So to achieve data security, do something. There are many things on the list that are simple to do. They're low-hanging fruits. Just do them. Because doing something is much better than doing nothing and assuming that you've never had a compromise.
The way the technology is going now, it's not even a race for relevance, it's a race for survival. Because if you're not with it, you're going to die, right? In fact, you have to be savvy. So I was tempted to come up here with paper, but I make sure I come with the iPhone. Because if you go anywhere you're presenting now from paper, you're not cutting it. So sometimes even you don't have anything on the phone, you carry it up here, so, right? And some people do it, you know that? Yeah, man, they walk up with the phone and yes, and moving and touching on the phone, right? But it's the look, right? And it's the image. And we're going to talk about the image because we really have to change it. Because obviously, technology affords us to do things cheaper, more efficient, all of the above in terms of that. So there are some opportunities there for us finance people. So what's the imperative of our finance professional? First of all, we have to apprise ourselves with the technology that's available across. Right? We're going to discuss some of them, but what I'm saying is that whatever we can do in this small window cannot replace the plethora of different applications that are out there. So as a finance professional within your industry, you have to be researching, talking to IT, looking overseas to ensure that you're aware what is out there. Companies are going through rapid technological change. It's emotionally charged. Every day you hear that there's a list coming out, and you wonder if you're named upon the list. Nobody understand what I'm talking about? It's reality, right? So when we're doing technological changes, right, it calls for proper leadership. And it can happen in many ways. You can even get sabotaged. Because if you don't treat people well, they can sabotage you in the transformation process. So this managing of the organizational impact is key. And I would recommend that if it is major enough, get what we call change management help. Right? You may need people who are adept at change management to guide you through this process. Focus on talent and skills. Very critical. The skills that we needed yesterday and the talent are not necessarily what we need today and going forward. And that's one of the challenges that we have. Some tough decisions may have to be taken, and we may have to redeploy people. But you have to make sure that we have the right talent and skill to take their organization forward based on the new technologies that we are applying. Cashier-free store. Real. Amazon has this. You have an Amazon card. You just walk into the store, you swipe, go in, take what you want, leave, and the process send the bill to you. Nobody's involved. Understand that implications for that. In fact, a few years ago, maybe 2 years ago, I was in Israel and on a tour. And in there you can do the Israel tour. It's a very good tour. But we stopped at a gas station with the tour guide and put the nozzle in his tank, pull up, drove out. I asked him, nobody was involved. He explained to me that the nozzle has a microchip, and so does the car tank. The amount of gas that he's taking is recorded, transmitted by a bill to his company from the gas station. Nobody involved. Right? So I saw that, and it wasn't even last year, this is over 2 years ago. This is a sign of where we are and where we are going. So I'm just putting these things up there. And if you want to research it, fine. But I'm just trying to tell you, because we used to talk about the future. The Heptones have a song that said, the future is here, my dear. Because the future is here. So all that we're talking about, we used to talk about their emerging technologies. No, the technology is here. We have to be very cognizant of social media. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm on all of them. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all of them. Because we have communicated and keeping in touch with your team members, knowing what they're doing, your children, your niece and nephew and all of that, this social media thing. So I'm saying to us as chartered accountants, don't have any phobia about it. Get with the program. So our job is not to be fearful of what is happening. Our job is to adapt to the change and make sure that we can perform as professionals under the new systems. Right? Our brain, Tavi. In fact, let's say a man's brain, it start work from in his mother's womb and don't stop work at all right until adulthood. When a man's brain stop work, when his wife asks him, where were you last night, honey? That's the only time a man's brain stop work. Right? But seriously, the computers cannot really replace us. But they will make us redundant if we don't adapt to change. So in summary, as I said before, I didn't intend to give you a technical presentation. I really want to give you what you call a reality check to make sure that you understand that these technologies, I mean, I've been part of change process for a number of years, but never before have I seen so much coming at me in a short space of time. You understand? It's not like one time when you have a time, you don't have no room for error. It's coming, right? Rapid, rapid, rapid. And I'm saying, as accountants, we have to deal with it, grasp opportunities, make things better for ourselves and the organization, and just don't let the bus leave us. All in all, before wrapping up, the question is, are you ready? And I hope you're ready.
PwC is a sponsor here today. Talk to us about that partnership.
Yeah, but PwC, we are very happy to sponsor this conference. The Institute, we have been sponsoring it a few years now. We think it's a very important conference for accountants to maintain their relevance in a very dynamic environment. We think it's value for money to get all stakeholders on board on a conference like this, to share some very good ideas, cover some good topics. So we are always on board and we'll continue to be on board with it.
Today you are also a presenter. Speak to us about the main points of your presentation.
The topic of my presentation was professional accountants maintaining relevance in the digital age. So it's all to do with us as accountants moving with the pace of technology, because we all know technology is taking over almost everything. So we have to ensure that we take steps to make sure that we are relevant. There are opportunities, there are challenges. So my talk, my presentation covered a number of emerging technologies, artificial intelligence, robotic process automation, cyber security, cloud computing, number of different areas. Encouraging the accountants to get on board, familiarize yourself with all these technologies to ensure that you can function properly in the digital age.
Outside of functioning properly in the digital age, what advice would you give young professionals who want to become accountants?
Well, it's a noble profession. I don't think there's a profession that gives you the wide insight into businesses as auditing and accounting. It's really broad-based. I would encourage youngsters to take a serious look at it. I think career choice is very critical. You have to look at something that you have the aptitude for, something that can pay your bills, and something that you like, because those three have to go together. So that's my advice. I'm not going to go to say everybody must turn an accountant. Do the research. and make sure. But I'm telling you that's an attractive profession. It's a plethora because of activities, because you have auditors, you have forensic auditors, you have internal auditors, you have financial analysts, chief accountants. So there's a wide range in the profession that you can get into.
It's Island Hour, it's Island Hour, it's Island Hour, free eye test. It's Island Hour, it's Island Hour, it's Island Hour, free eye test.
Free eye testing is back and it's here to stay. Island Eyewear offers free eye testing every day, all day at all locations island-wide. Conditions apply. Make your appointment today at www.islandeyewear.com or call us 630-1180. Island Eyewear, your style, your price.
It's Island Hour, free eye test.
Business current affairs you can relate to. Frank, credible discussion. On point, dissecting the issues. Offering solutions to Jamaica's challenges. On Point, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV. Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
I'm pleased to be here to talk to you about T-Tech. T-Tech is the first company to be listed on the Junior Stock Exchange and as an IT firm, and we provide managed services to persons in the IT space. So if you have network servers to be managed, we will look after that for you, provide a service desk. We also help you to implement your cybersecurity program.
Why did you decide to be a sponsor here today?
Well, one, we work closely with financial members of financial profession because they tend to also supervise IT professionals, and also we recognize that the financial profession needs to understand the importance of cybersecurity.
Give us some clarity on BPOs and share some benefits.
Well, in terms of clarity, overall it's an industry that's very people-centric. So it hires a lot of folks, and it also enables their growth and development. And if I were to think of some what you'd call advantages of the industry, I would say, simply put, it creates options that are not limited by age, race, nationality, or any other factor that usually impacts corporate America. In my example, personally, I was a vice president at age 25 in a Fortune 500 company. There's not many industries that take that kind of a chance on someone who is young and who does not necessarily meet the status quo. These conferences, from a BPO perspective, for me, the biggest advantage is there's a lot of negative perception and a lot of negative press out there about the industry. And what it does, it deters people who could really have an impact to come in and succeed. So from functions like this, my intention is always to correct those myths and to ensure that people view the industry in a positive light, because it is indeed a positive industry.
So talk to us about CPA Canada. What do you guys do?
Sure. CPA Canada, CPA, Chartered Professional Accountants of Canada. We are Canada's national accounting designation. But as much as I say Canada, we are 100% recognized globally. As such, we are affiliate members of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Jamaica and recognized by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of the Caribbean. Basically, if someone wants to become an accountant, they usually do a first degree, sometimes they choose to do a second. But at some point in time, they need to become a qualified accountant. Accountancy, like other professions, are highly governed, and as a result, one needs to choose a designation to qualify under. CPA Canada is one such option. It is 100% available to persons who are living in Jamaica. Fortunately, it's 2018, and there's no longer the need to actually go to Canada to earn the designation. Someone can actually sit in Jamaica, continue working, enjoy their family life, and study at the same time. This is actually our second year as a sponsor of the ICAJ conference. It's a great opportunity for us to maintain connections and ties and support our members who are based in Jamaica. So some of these persons who are present here today are actually Canadian CPAs active in Jamaica. And it's also a good touch point for the younger ones who are still undecided as to what designations they want to do. And for those who are qualified, we have a lot of certificate programs that they can now subscribe to. So it's a wonderful opportunity. I particularly like this conference because it's not just 100% accounting topics per se, which can get very technical. It's more of a business conference and really touches issues that are affecting us in the business community today.
Speak to us about the mandate of the ICAJ.
So the ICAJ is the institute that governs the accounting profession. So our members are those persons who have qualified in accountancy to earn a designation as chartered accountants. So essentially our job is to engage with those members, help manage them through their career, and to provide for new members a training of students and the coaching and mentorship of students so that they can become chartered accountants one day. So this is a business conference, and the theme is meant to be there for covering non-accounting issues, because we're trying to attract an audience other than our traditional membership. So the last 3 years, we've done the Megatrends hashtag. So that's why it's 3.0, Megatrends 3.0. The feedback has been extremely positive. I think people like the topics. I've got very positive feedback on the speakers themselves. There's good energy in the room, there's good buzz. So from that perspective, the conference has met our objectives. We have probably our largest delegate list ever, just over 300 people. There are about 50 people online. So from a total attendance, yes, it probably has checked that box. From a diversity of the persons who are attending, I think we've fallen a bit short. So we need to figure out how we bring more people into the discussion. Because this is not intended to be focused only on accountants. So to the extent that we wanted to see more bankers, attorneys, other professions, engineers. We have a topic coming up on the environment and disposal of plastics and how we manage plastics in our economy. What challenges and opportunities that present. That's not an accounting discussion. That's a discussion that anyone who lives and works in Jamaica should be interested in. And so diversity, I think we can improve that. From a production perspective, I think, again, this year we have done a better job than prior years. So we're continuously improving, but I think we can still take the production level up a notch. We want it to be a really high-impact type of conference. So you feel as if at the moment you walk in that this is something new and different every year. So we're going to work on those two aspects in the future.
There you have it, another staging of the ICAJ Business Conference. I've been your host, Amita Prasad-Webb, and thank you for watching Business Access TV, serious about business.
taking the pain out of the audit preparation. Crow Jamaica now offers audit management services, AMS. With AMS, Crow team manages your external audit process by providing the following. 1. Prepare and review schedules for your external auditors. 2. Prepare responses to your external audit team queries. 3. Assign our team members to locate supporting documents during field work. 4. Draft financial statements in accordance with IFRS to supply to your external auditors. 5. Provide guidance to your internal accounting staff regarding classification and recording of transactions. 6. Review your general ledger for accuracy. 7. Prepare necessary journal entries. 8. Prepare fixed asset register. 9. Prepare accounting and operational manual for effective internal control. 10. Liaise with the company external auditors. We work with your team to achieve timely and effective external audits, resulting in timely completion of your audited financial statement, while your current staff focuses on their daily activities. Contact us, info@crowhorwath.com.jm. Website, www.crow.com/jm.
I do have a dream, and I know you have a dream, that we can make Jamaica the place of choice for you to choose to live, to work, to do business.
We are going for the Jamaica we want. Making steady progress to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals in our National Development Plan, Vision 2030 Jamaica. We have teamed up with valued partners, working through strong institutions to reduce inequalities in our society. We commit to being responsible in our production and consumption, ensuring we build sustainable communities in harmony with nature. Jamaica is making significant strides in providing quality, lifelong education for all, enabling our people to be engaged in decent work to drive economic growth, equipping men and women with the skills to build resilient infrastructure, promote sustainable industry, foster innovation, and utilize new technologies. Urgent action is being taken to manage natural resources responsibly, protecting clean water sources, ensuring access to water and sanitation for all, diversifying to alternative energy sources, conserving our environment, and sustaining life below water and on land. Jamaica is making moves to ensure healthy lifestyles for the well-being of our people. We're promoting sustainable agriculture to achieve food security, improve nutrition, and end extreme hunger, putting in the work to end poverty in all its forms. We're on track in achieving our Sustainable Development Goals through realizing our Vision 2030 Jamaica. We will leave no one behind.
And I'm chilling right now, cause we're winning right now.
Violence against women is a violation of human rights. Its impact ranges from immediate to long-term physical, mental, and sexual consequences, sometimes resulting in death. It negatively impacts women's general well-being and can prevent us from fully participating in society. Be a better human being. No more violence against women. No more.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show. And Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. Wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
My name is Dorrit Watson. I am Managing Director of D Next Step Sandals and Accessories Limited. We're located in Devon House, 26 Hope Road, Kingston. We're on kiosk number 24. The idea came about because when I lost my job in Florida, I was in charge of human resources there. I came down here on vacation and I kept having visions after I went to the market in Ocho Rios. And I kept having these visions about sandals for about, I was here for 2 weeks, every night it was in the vision. So that's really the beginning of how it really got started. And it just kept going from there, from strength to strength. About 2003, the idea started to flow where I was having people make the sandals for me and come up with some ideas and have them make it for me. And afterwards, we started our own company. So really, we started in Florida, making them in Jamaica, taking them to Florida, and then we just decided to start the company here locally. We manufacture handcrafted leather sandals. We do for male and female. Well, our major market is the female sandals. Our brand gives the customer the opportunity to really create their own look. Customization is always here. Size don't matter. You can pick, we have a wide selection in the store to choose from. But if you want to take our design and tweak it, we allow that to happen. And you can pick the colors you want to blend the colors. And people really like that a lot. So that's really what's built our business, and also the fact that we pad our sandals. So it gives that extra amount of comfort to our sandals. The funds for the business really came from my redundancy money from who I borrowed, money that I had saved up. It was every penny that I could get my hands on. And because I wasn't familiar to shoemaking industry, a lot of my money was, I wouldn't say wasted, but was put into trying things. So it was really just every money I had was in it, and then I started borrowing a little money here, a little money there. Later on, we got a couple of loans, but now we are practically debt-free. I run my business just like I run my house, which means if I don't have it, I don't really spend it. And I always make sure that I have enough money in the back to keep me going, don't matter what. So we're not big on funding outside the company. I try to make whatever we receive in, run the business. The money we used originally was really on leather, and it was really exploring different types of leather, what is good to make what. Because I wanted to make them a little different from what I was seeing on the street, it means that I had to really always go out of the box. I was always looking for that different material that's not available. That's why people say, oh my God, I didn't even know that was leather. It looks so pretty, because I look for leather with patterns on it and bright colors that you could blend with other colors. So a lot of my money was invested that way. And then there was buying the initial equipment to get it done. Although it was done by hand, we still needed a sewing machine, and then I bought like 3 of them before I realized I was buying the wrong machine. But eventually we figured out what the right machine should be. So you do spend a lot of money that way when you just started out, because you're doing trial and error, and that's the only way you're gonna know how you're gonna fit into the market, is to try it and see if it works. We're profitable, and I judge my profitability more than the fact that I don't have to borrow any money to keep going. So, do I have millions in the bank? No, but I have enough to keep us going, and I have enough always to have in the bank that I have 2 weeks payroll. So if nothing was sold for 2 weeks, I can still pay my staff. So if after 2 weeks, then we got nervous, we got worried, but for that time, we figured it out. we were really operating out of the factory at Hero Circle. A lot of people, we had the factory there and we also had a showroom there. A lot of people weren't very happy with coming to Hero Circle. So it just happened that one day, one of my customers, Ms. Frankson, she got somebody a gift certificate. And the lady came down to the store and she said, "Why you have these nice sandals down here? You should be in Devon House." And I didn't even think I could afford to be in Devon House. But lo and behold, a way was made, and that's how we end up in Devon House. It's a fabulous location to be because you have the tourists coming in. You have most people come here anyway. It's such a popular place that people enjoy to be at Devon House. They enjoy coming here. So a lot of our customers really like coming here. It's really centrally located, and you get people coming from abroad, people coming from all over. They come here. People who live in Denmark and coming down on vacation, they're more comfortable to come here than I'm sure to go to Hero Circle. Although nothing is wrong with Hero Circle, don't get me wrong. It's just how the stigma is that some people just think something bad's going to happen to them, but nothing bad's going to happen to them. My senior person, we found each other more or less, but most of the other people that work with us come through Heart. So we take them and we train them. They're very young. Most of the time we get really good people from there, and a lot of them stay with us and they hone their skills and become, we train them from scratch, we train them our way, because the important thing about D-Next Lab, it has to be made our way. We don't want you to make it your way. So it's good that we take them and we train them to make the sandals our way. It's a very friendly environment. You could almost say it's like a little family because everybody kind of look out for each other. If somebody don't turn up for work on time, somebody's going to wonder where that person is and call them and make sure they're okay. So we kind of run it as a low-level family business. Everybody is involved, and most of the people there, they all get along. We all get along, really. So it's, except, we have, every business has its ups and down days, but in general, I think we all get along very well. Mentally, my day starts at 4 o'clock. That's when I wake up. And I usually check to see what's going on the email. I usually just go on Instagram, check all my social media stuff. I physically get to work 7:30, 8 o'clock. It depends on the day. So let's take a Monday. A Monday is a day that I usually buy my raw materials. So I go to Halfway Tree, I buy my raw material, I make sure we have glue, I make sure we do everything, and I also make sure that the orders that we got on the weekend are scheduled and are placed up for order. And we also go to make sure that scheduling the work, who's going to do what, and talk to the supervisors what we're going to do and how we're going to get it done. If it's time to do my SO1, I get that done, file my stuff, because basically throughout the day I do basically everything from one end to the next. So technically my day finish, I usually pens down at about 7. I've often heard people say, when I started my own business, I lost everything. Well, I'm a prime example of that. But I have a determination that's endless. So you can beat me down as much as you want. Chances I'm going to pop back up in one way, shape, or form. So yes, it's been positive a lot because I love to see people in the sandals on the road and make me real happy. I'll dance. I saw a lady once in JCPenney in Miami. She had on the sandals, and I almost killed the lady. I said, "Oh my God, you're wearing a D-Next Lab?" And she was like, "What?" I said, "The sandals, they're by brand." And she's like, "Somebody gave them to me. I don't even know where they came from." So that makes my day when I see that. And I love when I come in the store looks pretty, and that's really what gives me joy from what I do.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show, and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
What makes us unique is a customization, number one, colors, number two, warranty, number three, and meeting the needs of our clients. Always the clients come first. With all those ingredients put together, puts us apart from the competition. Our ideas are generated two ways. One, from us in general, the general style. So, for example, we might come up with an idea and say, look, we think this is nice. But then when we put it in the store, the client will come in and say, oh, that's a nice style. But what if it was bigger? What if that flower was smaller? What if you add a strap across there? So sometimes we take that idea, sometimes we take it and we use it in the store, sometimes we don't. So really our clients drive our designs a lot. Once you do quality, people will recognize it and they will see each other. I'll give you an example. Somebody walking in New York City saw somebody in the sandals and thought it was from one of the stores in New York City and was so surprised that it was made in Jamaica. She came to Jamaica, first thing as she got off the plane, she came to our store. You know, so the word of mouth is your best. When somebody can say, you have a great product and I've tried this product and it's nice, and people stop you and say, where'd you get that from? That is your best way to really build your brand. The second way is social media. You just can't go wrong with social media. And that's where right now we're really focusing on, because we see that most people are driven to social media. So we've just taken that on, and it's really working out well because we're now in touch with people from all over the world. Places, parts of the world that we probably never even heard of, before people are calling us and ordering sandals from. So, you know, it works well that way. I would say some of the challenges that I really faced in the beginning, that was trying to understand the Jamaican way of doing business, satisfying all the government requirements. That really, you really have to get a grip on that. And one of the things that I've discovered is that every aspect of your business, you must understand how it works. Even if you're going to pay somebody to do it for you later on, make sure you take the time to understand it. So if it's your SO1, make sure you know how to fill out that form. Even if you're going to give it to somebody else to do, because you need to know if it's been done wrong. You don't want to get to the end of the year, you go to get some documents done to find out, oh, you did it all wrong. So I really believe in trying to understand every aspect of your business. Then you can do whatever you want to do with it afterwards. My biggest failure, I think, would be trusting too much. Believing that everybody thinks like me, and it doesn't quite work that way, because everybody has their own story, their own agenda. So when you're thinking that you're working with somebody or you're doing something with somebody and you think they're working with you, you have to always remember that they have their own goals. You have to know how to separate yourself and know how to just deal with it. I have a quality control person. I try my best to have as many eyes as possible. So, for example, we kind of have things, making the shoe set up in phases. So at any one phase, anybody can say, hey, this didn't look right, and throw it out. That's the concept. Now, some people who might like that, but in general, it's like everybody, although I have a quality control person, everybody works there is really a part of the quality control process and should stop. If they say something isn't right, should say something. I always tell them, if from you come here day one, you have the right to say, this don't look good, I don't like it. And at least question it. That you don't get to the end and then we have to throw it on and start over. And to be honest with you, throw it out and start over again. A lot of times we had to say, this don't look good, throw it out. Sometimes we make it for the client don't like it because so and so and so. We say, you know what, I don't argue, we just go ahead and make it over to how they want it to be made. Some of the things that we've been working on is, for example, having somebody else start buying the raw material besides me. Somebody is teaching somebody when they go to a leather store what to buy. So I'm sort of passing on to that one of the other directors, one of the younger directors, that he's now learning how to source the material, what to look for when he's buying the material, and also basically training him to be my successor. So in that way, the business will keep going, because oftentimes the employees look at me and sometimes I complain and they say to me, hey, what's the plan? So, you know, we have a plan. It probably needs to come up a little bit more rapid, but there is a plan that one of the directors will take over and continue the business. But right now he's in the learning curve. He's learning material. We go to the stores together, we go online, we do all showing him where I get the stuff, what to look for, and all the different things that you need to learn if you're gonna take over the business. We do a lot of marketing on social media. We also attend trade shows. One of the things we're going to do next is try to go to Magic, which is really a big step, and which is in Las Vegas a couple times a year. And if you can get through in Vegas, your company can really take off. We're probably going to put the store online fully. Right now, you can create your sandals online on our website. The same sandals that are in the store can be purchased right online and come to you in the mail. One of the most successful marketing strategies we experienced was really a gift from National Bakery, which was when we were the bold ones. And that really leaped our business into so many different arenas, because they gave us free exposure at Expo, free on TV, newspaper. D-Neck Step Sandals was everywhere, and it was a wonderful thing, and I cannot thank them enough for it. Another one, when we just started, was the Innovators. Now, the Innovators, you would think 6 years, people didn't even remember me or that I was on the show. To this day, I'm walking around and people will say, I saw you on the Innovators. And I just think that's really amazing how much people pay attention and to what is out there. And we have received a lot of free marketing, to be honest with you. When we just started, we've got a lot of free marketing that really boosts us and help us to be successful. Nowadays, we're looking forward to going in other directions, playing around more with social media, because what we discovered from analyzing our Instagram traffic was that out of Kingston, our biggest followers are in New York City. So that tells us that we should be doing something in New York City and really looking at who is looking at us, where the people are really following us from, and think what we should find events there to promote the business. So that's really our plan for next year. We do some export already, which is launches in Antigua, St. Kitts, and a few other smaller shipments in other islands. But I think we need to now go to those people who are really seeking us out and go and do something in those areas. My determination to be successful is endless, and I'm never going to stop trying until the day I die. I'm just a very determined person, so I'm always looking at new ways. If I can't sleep at night, it's because I'm checking out, seeing what's going on in the world as far as fashion is concerned, and how we're going to fit into that. How can we fit our business into what's going on in the industry? What sort of sandals we should be making? What colors we're going to make? So I always try to keep the business fresh as much as I can. I'm too determined not to try to be successful. I think to be a successful entrepreneur, you really need to have determination. And people are going to tell you, no, you can't, it's a stupid idea. But if you think it's a good idea, you have to be willing to take that risk to do it. And you got to be willing to work with the people you want to focus your product on. So those people who you're working on are the people who are going to give you the idea to make you successful. So you got to listen to them. My determination of success is not about money, it's more about accomplishments. I like to see things done well, and I like to see something flourish. It's like a garden, you know, you plant your tomatoes and you see your fruit reap and it looks so pretty, but maybe you're not gonna get any money for it, but it's yours, and you just think you did that all by yourself. And so, just how I view it. My greatest fear would be when I'm supposed to stop doing this, and how I manage it is just simply just keep going.
The business community has suffered tremendously due to extortion. Some have not just lost their businesses, their jobs, but lost their lives. This is extremely impactful to the growth of our country and to the progress of our people. We are our brother's keeper. Let's put a stop to this. No more use of force. No more use of fear. No more extortion. No more.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, I mean, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life. Highlighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life turns art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
My motivation is really when I walk into a leather store and I see the most beautiful leather, and my idea just starts popping in my head what I can do with that leather, and it really motivates me to want to come back. So even if, say, I left and I think, oh, I don't want to do this anymore, once I walk into the leather store, it's over. I get back, all my jitters go, and I'm determined to get the next color in the store. My greatest inspiration came from an old lady who raised me as a little girl. And one day, I asked her what I should be when I grow up. And she told me, Pickney, you can be anything you want to be if you put your mind to it. And it's never left my head. My favorite aspect is when I go somewhere and see people wearing the sandals, especially when they're showing them off, or when they come in the store and they say to me, oh, I was at a party, and this one was wearing that one, and that one was wearing that color, and we were having a talk whose sandals was better. Nothing makes me happier. My success is attributed to my philosophy that if it's got to be done, it must be done. and it can be done. And there's nothing say that you can't do anything. There's no such word as I can't do it, it's impossible. I believe that the most satisfying aspect of this business, watching it grow, that you have something that was nothing 7 years ago, nobody even heard of it or thought about it, and 7 years later, I pray we'll soon be a household name. Well, we're on our way. My plans for the future are, as far as the business is concerned, to find ways to make it grow, to continue to be successful and to grow from strength to strength. My personal life, to travel, and more travel. My advice to those who wants to go on this very challenging journey of starting their own business is to research, figure it out. If you feel strongly that you're onto something that is wonderful, that can become greater than you someday, then I encourage you to always pursue it. Pursue it in a small amount first and take your time and grow your business to the level that you want to go to take it to. Never be afraid to ask advice. There's a lot of people who will give you good advice, but sometimes too, other people give you bad advice. Learn to distinguish which is good advice and which is not. Look at both sides of the coin before you make a judgment.
Now presenting the Jamaica Social Investment Fund ICDP Enterprise Development Project. Entrepreneurial Grant Business Pitch.
This project is a $100 million grant that's seeking to target 50 small and micro business enterprises and give them training, capacity development, equipment, permits and license towards the development and the viability of their business. We have made a call for proposal in March of this year for entrepreneurs to submit for the opportunity to receive a grant between $1 and $5 million. We received more than 500 applications, and so we have now shortlisted them to 100. So we've invited that top 100 applicants here today, and they're going to have to pitch their business idea to a panel, and of the 150 will actually transpire and win the opportunity for the grants. One of the primary objectives of what we're doing here is employment. We want the business to be able to sustain not only the principals as the owners, but we also want the business to be able to employ at least 2 people. The next part of it, as we do in all of our projects like this, is it provides a learning instrument of how we can engage small and micro enterprises and take them to the next level.
Why we're doing this rigorous process, because we want to identify the best potential entrepreneurs for this project. And keep in mind that we are speaking about a loan, so we want to ensure that applicants are committed, and that from a sustainability point of view, that upon receiving the support from JSIP, that in 2-3 years, the enterprises will still be operational and the broader objective of the project would be achieved. Once we have now equipped them and they should be ready to start the production line going, we'll then have a mentorship component.
It has been a very competitive process. Jamaica is filled with persons with drive and passion. We're expecting that the best will be selected. And then for those who are not successful, we are also hoping to link them to other providers of services, because I'm telling you today, from what I've seen, it is an excellent opportunity. It's worthy of note that many persons coming here today already have some kind of semblance of a business, but they need the additional support to move that business to the other level, as well as some persons that are coming with those proposals to start from scratch. On behalf of the JSIF, we want to really thank the DBJ and other partners from UWI who came to be part of the panel, and just to remind you that the JSIF is here and we're investing for community development.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Sundays at 4:30 p.m. It's all about Home Sweet Home. Get your half-hour dose of the business of real estate, from laws and concepts to reality, building, buying, or renting. Or what about trends in decor or renovations? Home Sweet Home will keep you up to date.
I'm Adam Stewart. This is Business Access TV, serious about business.
Oh, it's Robert. Hey Robert, how are you? Thanks for coming.
Not everyone can afford to live in a gated community, but the home is still considered a sanctuary where you should feel safe. On this episode of Home Sweet Home, we provide a young couple with security consultancy for their new home to keep their family safe. Stay tuned.
Well, Robert, thanks for coming by. Nice meeting you. Heard you were the person to talk to where security is concerned.
Unfortunately, yes, that's correct.
Alright, so we just kind of moved in and settled down. As you can see the place, so can you give us a lowdown on what you have to offer?
Well, essentially what I'm going to do is just take a look at everything. I'll tell you what's right. I'll tell you if there's anything I see wrong. Tell you what I think the fixes are. We're going to try and keep it economic. What I essentially do is look at houses, apartments, and determine what their security tweaks need to be and what their vulnerabilities are. And it won't be any different here. And it has to tie into what your daily routine is, so I don't turn your house into a prison.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it is somewhere that you feel safe to be.
Tell us a little about you and your company.
Oh, well, I'm still learning. I haven't done it for too long, only 42 years. So I'm learning as I go along. Based on the size of your property and what needs to be done, I come in and I look at it and I tell you, does a door open properly? Do you have the correct door? Do you have the correct lock? Are your grills adequate? What I could do to defeat the grills if I wanted to, and how you can fix that. And essentially point out to you what you need to do that when you come into your house, it becomes your castle.
Are there any projects that you've worked on that would give us kind of scope of?
I'm currently the Senior Director in charge of Safety and Security at the University of Technology. And the campus is known as the benchmark for the provision of security to tertiary institutions in CARICOM. Jamaica 50 celebrations, I was responsible for the security coordination of that. And I am the security chairman for the Jamaica Football Federation and a member of the CONCACAF Security Committee. So, like I said, I'm learning.
So Robert, let's do a little tour of the place and you can just point out what you think we need to do in terms of improving security around the place.
Before we even take a step, your grill. When you're doing grills, you need to ensure that the density of the steel is sufficient to withstand any attempt to defeat it. And you can look at how the grill work is done in terms of where the joinings are. Some people will do what is not adequate joinery, but conceal it with putty and paint. The good news is you have good grill, and you have 2 plate guarded locking areas, which means that the grill can't be turned in on itself and you can't immediately reach for it. The locks that you have, that's a very good lock. That's an excellent lock. For 2 reasons. You can't bust it that easily, and you can't lock yourself out, because the only way you can lock that is with a key. So you can't just shoot a padlock and then suddenly remember that your key is in your bedroom or in your kitchen.
So is it that we need 2 for it, or
Yes,
one
you
is
do.
sufficient?
You need 1 at the top, 1 at the bottom. And your lock sold, that 1 key will do both. So you don't run into the situation of trying to remember which one of the keys fit which lock.
That sounds good.
And if for any reason you lose one of the keys, change lock. Don't cut a new key.
Just switch locks entirely.
Yes. And if you have a helper who you part company with under acrimonious circumstances, change all your locks.
It's a good
But the helper would have had access.
It's a good idea to just kind of buy spare locks and put aside.
You could. You could. When I came in and you came to open the gate, you had to come out and physically open the gate for me. Arrivals and departures is where most people are vulnerable. So whilst it's an expense, you can look as part of your security plan down the road to put in an automatic gate opener so that you don't have to. And then you put a small intercom system so you don't actually have to come out and be viewed before you vet who is trying to enter your
So
premises.
you can view first before
Yes.
viewing.
Does it use a lot of power though?
No, not that much. And they're not as expensive as most people think they are. They're certainly cheaper than a coffee. You want to take a look?
Sure.
Oh, before you go any further, let me show you this. You have 2 types of lock here. This obviously doesn't work with a key. It's just when you keep the door shut and you want to open it. This is good. It's a deadbolt lock. It also means that when you are leaving, it uses a key. Again, you can't lock yourself out of the house. Thing is that on the inside, you need to put some form of light grill work so that I am not able to just break this and reach in and defeat the lock.
Would they be able to force through though?
It would be a little difficult once you are anchored, which is why I tell people that all these locks are lovely,
Yes.
but nothing beats a tower bolt.
Okay.
So a tower bolt on the doors that lock away from where I can easily reach, that locks into the frame, is a good thing to have.
All right.
Okay?
Sounds okay.
After you.
Hey baby, you like it?
Oh, you have a little one.
Yes.
What's here? Ah, powder room. Uh-oh. No grill. Someone will come in through there because it's hidden and be inside here, and you can't lock this door because even when you lock it, you can't get from the outside. The person from the inside can get in.
Okay.
The first thing you need to do is grill that.
All right. So any special grills?
Once it can be properly affixed without being able to be dislodged easily and allows you access to the locking mechanism of the window, it's good.
All right. Sounds good.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
Violence is bad. Violence against our innocent little children is terrible. Pretending not to notice when we know or suspect that a child is suffering is awful. and morally wrong. In the words of the great Nelson Mandela, there can be no keener realization of a nation's soul than the way in which it treats its children. Think about that for a second. I have a voice. It's one of my gifts. I intend to use it on behalf of our children. No more violence against our children. Make your move to stop violence against our children right now. No more. No more. No more.
I noticed you say you just moved in, so you haven't got all your furniture in yet.
No, we haven't. We're trying to figure out where we should put them and where.
Well, the placement is usually leave it up to the woman. Learn fast. Well, what you have to bear in mind is that the child has to play an important part in what furniture you choose. That the furniture is not something that is easily collapsible and can trap or injure your child. So whatever you buy, whilst you like your aesthetics, the safety of the child has to be brought into bear also. Okay? And this is your window. Usually in older houses, you discover it's nice and ornamental, but like where this does not have support coming across like this at intermittent, I put a scissors jack in here, wind it up, and I'll open it wide enough to get in. The immediate fix is to move the grills to the inside, and you can assess the type of grill and how strong it is, whether you want to use what is on the outside and just bring it inside, or you want to change the entire situation. Okay? And I take it for granted that the rest of the windows have the same problem.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, all on the outside.
And through here is your laundromat.
Yes.
Good guess. You have the grill on the inside, which means that your door opens on the outside and it's metal clad, yes?
Yes.
So that's a good.
That's a good point. Only problem I have is that it's a single point of contact with the, which means I can use this as a fulcrum and pull this in. So I personally would prefer if you had 2 points for padlocks so that the grill cannot be manhandled. What I would also do is put in a folding grill here so that it fold against that wall, still give you the space you require. But if someone manages to come in through here, that grill can be utilized as the design for what you put in the powder room. Okay? But if they manage to get in there and you have a grill situation here, they're temporarily locked in that area, which would give you some form of protection. If you go electronic, this is a good place for a motion sensor. So if someone comes in here, you will get a trigger.
So the only thing they could take is dirty laundry.
Yes.
Like for instance, this lighting now, does it have to do with security as well?
If you hear something outside at night, don't turn on the lights. You become like a fishbowl. You're inside, people outside can see you, you can't see out. So it's better, you know your house. So in the darkness, you're at an advantage. People outside can't see you, but you can see outside easily.
So outside lights would be a better option?
Outside lights are a much better option. Placed where someone can't reach up and move the bulb. Yeah? Bedroom. One excellent thing. The bed is over here against the wall, facing the window. Sometimes based on space, people find their bed head against a window, which means someone can reach in from the window and do you harm or get you to move. This way, you're against that wall, away from the window, and that if you wake up, you can immediately see what's happening. Yes?
What about the curtains? I was thinking of
Some people have nice flimsy curtains,
Yes.
and they're aesthetically pleasing, but I can stay from outside and see through them. At night, what I would do is you can go between aesthetically pleasing, and then at night you have where you draw the drapes so that one cannot stay outside and see inside. Okay, your walk-in cupboard.
Yep.
This window needs to have a curtain or a drape or shutters so that someone can't stay outside and look in. Also, they can't find themselves defeating. Again, the grill has to be made on the inside.
So it's right over from our neighbors. You think they could help us in any instance, anything we can do?
Depends on where you live with your neighbors, and everyone should. But God helps those who help themselves. So take care of yourself first. Just make sure that even if your neighbors decide not to be neighborly, you are in a protection mode.
Now that we see all that's inside and all the issues inside, would we like to go outside?
Oh, I'd love to. After you. Following your wife. This is lovely, except for one thing. I can defeat it at the corner. So the whole of this is nice, but if I really want to come around it, I come around it on the corner. Yeah? This will allow access to the roof. You might also have another thing that is not just a matter of security, but other matters too. Whereas if you have rats, you'll gain access to your roof by running up the tree, running onto the roof, and then all of a sudden you start to hear noises in your roof and you realize that you have rats.
The motion sensors.
So we'd have to move the
What
tree.
you can, or for the time being, get sheet metal and wrap the tree. Rats can do a lot of things, but they can't climb sheet metal.
Okay. And people?
People have the same kind of problems, although our people will defeat most things. Your gardener is best utilized clearing this. So you'll still have the hedges, but they do not interrupt your view. Same problem with the grills. They need to be on the inside. You see the camera system is here. The best thing is that cameras are mounted, that they watch each other. So that camera, for instance, will see if I try to mess with this camera. Yeah? And there are systems that allow you to use your smartphone, turn on your cameras at home, and view what's happening. It's an external area, but this lock has to be changed. This lock needs a deadbolt lock. I'll show you why it has a problem. Use a knife like this. And you have used it as a storeroom, obviously. And because you felt that this was okay, you didn't put a padlock on that.
That we need to fix that.
So,
definitely.
I'm in.
Like how we have a lot of locks and a lot of keys. What do you suggest we do?
There are locks that are sold, I think up to about 4 to a pack. That one key can open all of them. And you label your keys properly so that you don't have to be searching for them. What I can do that I've done for other clients is I can do a written report for you, and indicate your options, that you can do this now, this has to be done now, or this can wait for a little bit, and the various phases that you can do.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business. Cameo brings the creative industries to life, highlighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life turns art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
We are back with another exciting, innovative, and inspiring season.
It takes a lot of stick-to-itiveness, being consistent and persistent in whatever you're doing. That's the bottom line.
Business exists to add value to people's lives. And if we're not doing that, might as well we knock down the store and just call it a day.
It's a season 3 of Creating Wealth, Mondays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV, prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
Thanks again, Mr. Smith, for coming into our home and just kind of giving us the rundown on what we need to do. I guess, is there anything we probably overlooked?
I wouldn't say overlooked. There are options that you can avail yourself of. For instance, you can go solar where your security lights are concerned. It would create something of a consistency if your power goes from JPS. And you'd still have the security lights on the outside. It would definitely reduce your electricity bill. And you could go on a program to solarize totally from that point of view. Your movements should never be, thank you so much, should never be done in a way that's predictable. And it's difficult, especially with the little one going to school. You leave at a particular time to make sure she gets to school on time. People can watch your movements. If you're going to hire a helper, ensure that you know where the helper is coming from and you properly vet their background, address persons they've worked for before, the whole 9 yards.
To prevent robbery.
To prevent robbery, because sometimes you're busily looking on the outside for someone to break in when it could be someone on the inside breaking out.
So like with burglars now, I guess, is there anything we do that probably attracting them that we probably shouldn't do?
I don't know much about your lifestyle, so it's difficult to say that right now. But if you, as we indicated earlier, if you don't live good with your neighbors, your neighbors just sit down and watch somebody moving stuff out of your house, and when you come home, them tell you, so them think it's moving, it's moving. But if it's even a pleasant good morning, people tend to look out for you if you act in a manner that makes them feel that you see them as a human being and you care that they exist. If you're going to be away for a while, inform your neighbors that you're not going to be there for a while, ask them to give an eye out for you. And don't make people make deliveries. Like if you have newspapers that are dropped off, they will pile up if you're not. So you stop those deliveries.
Like the solar thing, is there any other technologies, lighting, grills?
LED lights cut down on power usage, and they tend to look bright, but in certain utilizations they may not give as much illumination as a security person might find adequate. But it all depends on what you choose. In security, if you pay peanuts, you get monkeys.
So is it a recommendation to have brighter lights outside and dimmer lights for the inside?
Yes. You want someone to feel that they are in an area that they are illuminated. You don't want to feel that they can hide somewhere and you create shadowed areas that they can sit and wait.
And like when we're away, should we leave lights on? Or should we?
Or you can put lights on the, not timers, the sensors, light sensors, so that when it gets dark, they come on. So someone knows, whether they're not too certain. If you're not going away for too long, leave on a television set. People, when the television set scene changes, people looking from outside get the impression that someone on the inside is moving. And between that and a radio, they're not too certain whether there's a discussion going on. So you look around and you say, I wonder if they're here, I wonder if they're not. It's difficult once there's some form of noise and movement going on. Let me just quickly run back through what we've gone through so that we have it down pat. The grills that are on the outside of the windows need to be duplicated on the inside or removed to the inside. The padlocks that you have need to be of a sturdy kind, and you have padlocks that can utilize a number of padlocks, but one key will open all of them. That will save you having to stand there and fumble with your keys. Your fence line is adequate, but you need to not just say, I have an adequate fence line and relax. It doesn't work like that. And the shrubbery that grows along it should be neatly trimmed. That doesn't allow people to conceal themselves in it.
Or spiky.
Or be spiky. Yes. You need beams that run down the side of your home that allow people not to be able to get to your windows without setting off some form of alarm. And I would suggest that you put an audible on the roof so that it not only trips it, but it tells the entire neighborhood that someone has tripped it. Your locks, your normal door locks, need to be deadbolt locked, and where possible, they need to open outwards. It's difficult for someone to kick a door in that opens outwards, and all exterior doors should be, where possible, metal clad. You need to ensure that you look at the possibility of a remote control for your gate, because your arrivals and departures is when you're most vulnerable. So if someone doesn't have to be there opening the gate, you do so electronically. Some people like the little bulb on top of the post that tells the world that the gate is about to open. But it means that if I'm hanging around waiting on you and the light starts flashing, you're coming.
All right. But pets.
That again is a personal preference. Dogs are really good. They're worth their weight in gold. If they won't attack the intruder, they'll at least alert you to the fact that one is there. And it will be good that based on the type of space you have, if you have two, so that you can confine one to that side of the house and one to this side of the house. They become territorial.
All right. Just like separate them?
You could, yes, because it means that if I want to mess around with you, I can go to one side of the house and lure the two dogs while my accomplice does what they have to do on the other side. Or like how you have the child, what you might want to do is get a nice little Shih Tzu. Men I don't like small dogs. Small dogs make a lot of noise. And they're very nice with children. And especially a Shih Tzu or a poodle will yap their life away. And a small dog, funnily enough, will run and bite you faster than a big dog will. And if the small dog is in the house, they not only are going to, see, I'm trying to get you a pen. They not only will become a companion for your child, but protect them. And the people from outside can't get to the child or the dog, and the dog will alert you that there's somebody on the outside. And the technology has gotten to the point now where it is not that expensive once you've set up your camera system properly to sit on the net with your smartphone and turn on your camera some extra and see what's happening.
Thank you again, Mr. Smith.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Business current affairs you can relate to. Frank, credible discussion. On point, dissecting the issues. Offering solutions to Jamaica's challenges. On Point. Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.